So today we want to talk about our scars. The title of this lesson is that My Scars Are Beautiful. Those scars that we've had physically, emotionally within us, we want to see it from a perspective of the spirit, from a position of connection. We want to see beauty in those scars. We want to, through this lesson, to wear the right glasses and look it from a perspective of the spirit, like I said earlier, because we know that everything we say here is working for our own good. And we know we are spirit beings and we inhabit this physical body. So everything that pertains to us, we want to see it from that angle, from the way spirit will view it, from a total picture that it's an orchestration from the spirit for everything that has happened to us. We learn in this teaching that spiritual things are spiritually discerned. So we want to also see these scars from that position, to discern it from a spiritual perspective. We want to also see our scars as life unfolding perfectly, and not just see it as scars, things to deter us from being who we have come here to be. In this teaching, we've also found that there are no mistakes, that everything is working out fundamentally for our own good. And when we say spiritual discernment, we want to trust that there is an unfolding good happening in us and through us. If we overcome a situation, a scar, whether physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is, and we want to see that there is an unfolding good and it's happening in us and it's happening through us. And that the same spirit process is happening everywhere and through everyone. I mean, what I'm trying to bring out is that for whatever we have experienced that were not good, that we still hold on to, we want to see that this is a process, spiritual process, and it's happening in us and through us fundamentally to bring us to a place of good, to a place of abundance. We want to look away from the stories. We want to look away from the things that we have a tendency to take us off track. If focusing on the issues, on the scars, takes us off focus, changes our mindset, we want to look away from those things and see every of those situations as fundamentally an orchestration by the divine to bring us to where we are now. We want to have this consciousness of connection. And when we say consciousness of connection, what does that mean? We want to see things from, again, the lens of the spirit, from the perspective of the spirit. What is there to learn from this? What is this situation teaching me? And if we understand that everything, not some things, that everything is there to teach us, everything in life, every occurrence, it's there for a purpose. It's not happening to you, it's not happening to me, it's happening for our own good. We want to come from that position of connection. We want to work on the understanding that all is well. We want it embedded within us, that not just that it's well, it is truly well. So when we talk about our scars, we want to know that There's a reason for that. And our work is to go within and discover the reason for that occurrence at that point in time. So we encourage ourselves to wear this new pair of glasses so we can see that there is beauty in everything. Even in those places we try to hide, there are things that have happened to us, we don't want to talk about it. When we put on these glasses, these spiritual discerning glasses, we want to know and to see the beauty, because there's always the beauty waiting to unfold, waiting to be seen. And some people think of them as scars, the things that were really tough. Yes, we say they're tough scars, sometimes they're physical things, but we don't want to think about those times or the scars or things that embarrassed us. We always don't want to talk about it. Sometimes when we get into those moments, we get emotional. I mean, we shy away from them. But today, I want to suggest that we once again understand that everything that has happened in your life, in my life, has brought you and brought me to this place of understanding that we, you, every one of us currently possess. I have a little dictionary definition of scar, which will also help us to understand it. It's the body's natural way of healing and replacing lost or damaged skin. That's the physical scars we see on our skin. The body has a way of naturally healing those things. Sometimes we take supplements or medication to quicken it to happen. But sometimes, even when they're healed, we still have that mark. Scars may be formed for many different reasons. We have scars from infections, surgery, injuries, inflammation of tissues, and so many things. Then we also know about the emotional scarring that stem from great misunderstanding. We have issues, challenges, love that's gone astray, hurts that we've had buried a long time, and after it leaves a permanent scarring on us. And sometimes when we want to go into some other new things, we remember the scars and we hold ourselves down. And we are blindfolded by, oh, this happened before, and you don't want to stretch yourself. But through this lesson today, we want to know how to look beyond the scars and understand and look for the lessons in that situation and learn from it and step onto greater heights. Many of us have scars we wish would disappear. I remember when we were younger, I had a scar when I fell from a tree trunk. It's still there, I still see it. I still know it's taught me better ways of climbing the trees and all that, and never to step on fragile stems. Things like that happen, we learn. You know, people have scars when they're playing, when they're cooking, or different accidents, I mean, in car and so many things, and it leaves us with situations. Sometimes it even gives us some disorders, and we're scared, traumatic stress disorders that we hold on to, we're afraid to dive into, to make new adventures, to create new moments. Some of these scars remind us of times, again, when we persisted through a situation instead of giving up and survived the situation, but it left us with a physical or emotional scar. Yes, some things we went through, and they were not pleasant, but we held on, we kept our head up, and we survived it, but it left us with a scar. These scars also remind us of victories that we've had. Sometimes we say life's most wonderful breakthroughs, experiences, are not the triumphs that we see, but those born from overcoming challenges and struggles. And again, some of the experiences we've had may have been very tough and stretched us to break points. where we thought we wouldn't make it. But the fact that we're here listening today alive means that we made it, we survived. So why do we have to hide those scars? They also remind us that we did more than to survive. It didn't kill us, so we become stronger. We've had experiences. Always in our classes, especially on Thursdays, Dr. Greg will always talk about self-acceptance, self-approval, and forgiveness as being the keys to moving forward. When we remember those scars, what does it do to us? Do we forgive ourselves for those scars if they were mistakes we made? Do we approve ourselves in spite of the situation, in spite of the scars? How do we go beyond those scars, those situations, to try again, to move on? Again, it's an important thing we always talk about on Sundays. Loving the self in spite of every situation. Loving yourself in spite of the scars. Being in the moment, understanding that in spite of those scars, you still have enormous power within you to move on. We learn to love ourselves, we learn to love our imperfections exactly as we are. Those imperfections are what has brought you to who you are now, and the experiences, the aggregation of those experiences make you the total and perfect whole being that you are today. There are some experiences that if we did have, we probably will not be able to manage the challenges of today. We probably will not be able to handle the heights that we've come to today. But those challenges, those scars are teachers to us. They taught us a lot and we learned from them. And we want through this teaching to always see those scars as what they are. Not barriers, not things that hold us back, but as stepping stones. If I did it, if I overcame that, I can overcome more things. We often emphasize the inner power that is available to us and that we can use it to change our thoughts and creations. This is very fundamental, fundamental to our teaching. We can create anything we want with our thoughts. So do we want to always see those bad occurrences as bad and allow it to, like I said, hold us down? Or do we want to dig within and exercise and use the power that is available to us to create new moments? So we want to ask ourselves always, the scars, these things, what have I learned from it? What has it taught me? Are you stronger now with those things? If you're not stronger with the experiences, with the scars, then you're not probably seeing things from the spiritual perspective. And we want to consciously always remind ourselves that we are one with God, we are one with Source, and we can, because we have that power to always see every situation, every scar from a perspective of the Spirit, and understanding that it's there for your own good. It's not there to hold you down. There is always a lesson in every situation. Have you learned this lesson? If the situation does not make you stronger, then you're probably not exploring all that you need to explore from the experiences. If we can always remember and know that we are part of a grand plan of the unfoldment of life, it's like a process of life is happening through you, it's happening through me. If we know we are all connected and life is unfolding perfectly, so how would we ever allow a situation, a scar, to hold us down? I am part of a grand plan, of a universal plan, a God plan, a spirit plan. So again, when we see that we are part of this powerful, great plan of the Spirit, it also boils down to understanding who you are and who you have come here to be. We did a lesson a while ago, I think last week, that is about I am that I am. If you understand that you are the I am that I am in any situation, in every situation, no scarring, no situation, no circumstances is strong or powerful enough to hold you down, only if you allow it to hold you down. So you are part of a great plan, a grand plan. I am part of that plan too. It's a powerful force that we are all part of. No scarring, no past or bad experiences can deter us. Like again, I said, it's only if we allow that to happen. Again, there's always this statements from Dr. Greg. It takes wisdom to understand that all events, circumstances, and happenings are helpful. I mean, if you think back over your life, you remember situations where you're going through a situation, eventually you got through it, and you apparently didn't understand the reason why that happened. Maybe after some years, 10 years, 5 years, you are able to link whatever it's happening now to that experience. And that is just the way it works. It's an every situation, every bad situation or good moment, it's all happening. It's an orchestration by the divine to bring us to where we are. You learn from the experiences of the past, the bad experience, and you know how to do things much better. And apart from that, like I said, it takes wisdom to understand that all events are helpful, and that divine intelligence, it's always at work. That life, it's in unfolding perfectly. We talked about divine order. Everything is happening in perfect time, perfect place. We might not see it now, but we understand that everything is happening perfectly. And when we understand that this is the divine, having divine right action all the time, and we tune into this, then we'll see those scars as occurrences by the divine to bring us to where we are. And what does this do? When we have this understanding, we'll know that it will become easier to see our scars and painful times as a teacher. So ordinarily, when things happen to us, and oh, it's happened, I've learned my lessons and all that, yes, we thank God for that. But we, in this teaching, we want to understand and learn from the experiences. We learn from what the scars that we've had. What is it teaching us? What have I learned from this? We talk about journaling. We journal and write things. Oh, I learned this, and you know better way to handle things or situations the next time. Again, the fact that you are here also brings out the fact that we overcame the scars. It's a story of courage and overcoming. Because we know people that probably couldn't go through what you went through, and they gave up, and they're not here. It's only making us stronger and better, like I said. And Coming again from this teaching, we know how important it is to develop a higher appreciation. We talked about being grateful, being thankful for things, for ourselves, and to honor the fact that we have overcome a lot to be here. Be grateful. I'm grateful for these scars I've learned from this situation. I've learned things from this. I'm better, I'm wiser now. And just like Louise here would always say, that the bottom line for everyone is that sometimes we don't feel good about situations. Yes, that is always what will hold us down. We want to get past every situation and continually, through this teaching, release it. Those are lies. That is not the truth of who you are. The bottom line again, that those scars, those situations are there for you. They were not pleasant when you went through them, but it's all happening for our own good. We learn to let it go. We let it go. Again, when we say we let it go, it doesn't just happen because we said we let it go. It's practice, something we have to do continually, continuously. We practice to always see the good. We declare what we want. We want to always see the good in every situation. Even as I'm saying it, I know some of us are going through things. We learn to see the good. See the good. And how would we see the good? When we come from that connected place. When we come from that spirit's perspective. And knowing that everything is perfect. You are perfect. I am perfect. You're going through a situation. You are perfect. I am perfect in that situation. Even in spite of those imperfections, you are whole and complete. And again, we often say that we can, in situations like that, situations like this, change our thinking. Changing your mindset. Changing the position from which you see things. And when we do this, we change our lives. We lift our consciousness. There's a shift in consciousness. And that shift in consciousness will always want us to look out for the good things, for the greater things in every situation. And again, when we are going through anything, we also want to know always that we are the most important person in our world. Of course, we teach this on Thursdays. We teach ourselves how to love ourselves. You love yourself and you accept yourself in spite of every situation. You are perfect. If any lie tells you that you are not perfect, you have to declare who you are. I am perfect, whole, and complete. It's only a situation, and this will pass. Those things are temporal. The I am that I am is the permanent one, is the complete one. Wholeness in its totality doesn't mean you have it all good and rosy. Wholeness from the spiritual perspective is, in spite of this situation, I am declaring who I have been created to be, and that is whole, complete. In spite of the scars, in spite of the past, in spite of the stories, in spite of my childhood, I am whole and complete. We have our different stories. Your story is different from mine. But in spite of those stories, the bottom line is that you are created in the image and likeness of God. You are whole, you are complete. So in our classes, we learn to raise our consciousness and know that we are doing always the best that we can with the knowledge and the understanding that we have. So don't criticize yourself. Tell yourself, I'm not good enough. I've failed so many times. I had so many issues. I don't want to try again. That is a lie. The truth is that once you raise up, you come up and you're grateful for life, grateful for every situation, come from that position of connection, knowing that everything is happening for your own good. Life is unfolding perfectly. Connect to your source. You see things change for the better. We get better when we see the good in ourselves and in others always. And when we say this, it's not always easy. And that's why we often talk about practice, practice, practice. Like we say, oh, you're going through a situation, what do you declare? You declare, I'm supplied and supported. Meanwhile, around you, you do not have food to eat or a place to live. But you keep declaring it. Keep declaring it. You're sending the universe an organ because the universe is there waiting to work on whatever you place in its hands. It's waiting to respond. Always. So the scars are there to challenge us that we went through, we survived, we are victors, and you can be victors again once you step out. It should never be anything to deter us because we are spiritual beings. We are born into this life as victors because we are connected with the great, powerful source. We learn through this teaching how to go within and use that power for our own good. We have the keys. You can use it to open the door that you want. They're just principles. Apply the principles and we'll definitely see the results. Through this teaching, we want to learn and we want to grow. We want to evolve. We want to move away from seeing that the scars are there to hold us down. We want to move into a place where we know that we are whole and those scars are stepping stones to greater heights for us. We want to know from this teaching that we are one with the one. Like I said, you are the I am, the I am. There's nothing lacking. We have an eternal and unbreakable connection with Source. It's there 24/7. It never cuts off. We feel it's cut off because we are not mindful of it, but it's always there, a response to you. And we say this often, but indeed, if we say it and we mean it, that all is well. All it's indeed well. Not sometimes, not some things. All it's well. So if you're in a situation where things doesn't seem well, just know it's temporal because all it's well. We have to come to that level of understanding and know that all it's well. It's working out for your own good. Those childhood messages we had, they are all there for a reason. And we have the power to change the way we see those mistakes, those scars. We can modify it through this teaching. We can start over. That's one important thing. Anytime you wake up, you can start it. It's fresh. It's new. Every morning, whenever you call on it, it will answer, it will respond. So we can begin again and begin to see those experiences as teacher to us. We can start now. Remember, we always say the power is in the present moment. If there are situations in the past that held you, that's been holding you down, we can start now to see those situations, those scars from a perspective of the Spirit, like I said earlier, and learn the lessons from there and move on. We can heal now. It does not matter how long those things been there. Again, the power is in the present moment. Whatever are the scars that is familial or spiritual, those things can end now if we decide to access the power in the present moment. The healing can be done now. All we need to do is to access that power of the moment and use it for our own good. We also know that when we're in this teaching, we know we are not mistakes that we made before. Those things are past, and we should never, never, never let that hold us down. Or the childhood stories that we've had. Again, everything, like I said, we have the power to change those situations by always looking for the good, declaring what you want to see. What you will be tomorrow is a result of what you do today. So we learn to live the present moment with and access all the power thereof. Again, they remind us of our strength and our healing. I mean, it's happened, we had the scars, we healed, you've overcome, you would overcome again. And again, in this teaching, we know that there are no accidents, and every encounter is a holy encounter. Again, if we come from that perspective that we are one with Spirit, we are one with God, then everything that happens to us, then we know it's a holy encounter. Everywhere you are, because you're holy, you're one with God, it's holy. So every encounter you had, it's holy. So if it's holy, that means there's something about divine about that to learn that's unfolding. Because every time we are here to learn, we learn from every experience of our past. And we move on to greater awareness of our being. This teaching is basically fundamentally about raising our consciousness. To raise our consciousness and understand what we have come here to be, what we have come here to do. And we always in the act of turning those scars to beautiful stories and encourage others too. You went through this, you survived it, and you're here now. We operate from a deep understanding, again, like I said, that it's working out for our own good always. If we can just get this principle that every situation, every scar, every past bad experience happened for your own good, then we've gotten a fundamental principle. Because when we understand that, when we begin to see every situation from a perspective of only good, always, the good and the God, always. When we come from that perspective, then we, even when we are going through any situation, will always be looking out for the good, because there is good, there is beauty in every situation. But it takes you also wearing those lenses of the Spirit to see it. And that is the whole thing about this class today. To always see beauty in every situation, because it's working for your own good. It's not there to hold you down. Nothing can actually hold you down unless you allow it. You wake up in the morning, you tell yourself, I am the I am. I am that I am. Every situation changes for my own good because I am is constant in every situation. That is an understanding, and we have to work towards practicing it. That doesn't mean we won't have challenges, but in that challenge, we have to understand that we are the unchangeable I am that I am. So when we look back over our lives, yes, you have gone through a lot, more than you think you could handle, but you're here today. That is victory. That's a victory story. And if you're here now, that means you survived. You're victorious. I am victorious. If it didn't kill you, it made you stronger. Like we say, you're wiser, you're better, you're so much better. Obviously. So we want to always not be ashamed of the scars that we have had over our lives. We want to release anything that wants to hold us back, that those scars is happening to us, or people or someone is against us, or something have been created to not progress. No, that is not what we want to see from this teaching. We want to see it as stepping stones to greater heights and awareness. Everything is perfect. Everything is in divine order. There are no mistakes. You are not a mistake. I am not a mistake. And we also, again, do not want to get into the victim mentality with the scars or the fairness thing or poor me. No. That is not who we are and who we want to see ourselves from this teaching. We are above only. We are never beneath. We are complete. We are whole. We are success. We are a success story. We are victorious. We are powerful. Don't ever let yourself to go into that mentality of, oh, poor me. No, remember our words are powerful. Use your words right and declare who you are. The power of the mind that we have to make decisions. We want to always use this power at our disposal for our own good. So whenever we are going through any situation, remember that you are the I am that I am, and don't stop. Keep trusting. Keep holding on. Because out of every situation, only good would come. And everything you're going through, it's all part of the great plan to bring you to where you are. So thank you all for being part of this class today.